My name is Pam Matthews, and I live in Waynesboro, Tennessee. It's about 90 miles south of Nashville. And in 2015, I went to the Voice of the Apostles and received information about the school. But then I realized that, I couldn't go to that, so there was the summer intensive program, and a group of us just decided to, by faith, come, and so we all made preparation and a lot of hard work, and here we are. A lot of people began to get sick in school, and I started to get a sore throat, and I started coughing, and that happened for a few days. Just wasn't feeling real good.
Pamela's been sharing a room with me, and initially she was just, she seemed to be coping quite well, but she was looking as if she was not feeling very well. But then suddenly on the Thursday night, she deteriorated very rapidly, and Margaret, who's an ex-ITU nurse, she was taking care of her overnight, basically having to tepid sponge her to try and get the temperature down.
In the morning, when everybody got up, we saw her. She was very weak. She could barely walk. She was very short of breath, and so we took her to the non-urgent place.
When I got there, my blood pressure was like 88/50 something, and my temperature was like 103 point something, and they advised us that we need to go straight over to the emergency room. They admitted me into the hospital, and they couldn't get my blood pressure to come up for 3 days. It stayed in the 80s over the 50s, and my temperature would go down a little, maybe just to like 101, 102, then it'd spike right back up to like almost 104. And I wasn't outputting any urine, so my kidneys weren't working, and they were getting very concerned, and they started talking about putting me in ICU, and they did.
At that point, they started to do further tests, and they picked up on that she had influenza A. And by midnight that night, on the Saturday night, they gave her 1 dose of Tamiflu.
I remember the doctor coming beside my bed and asking me if I had stopped breathing or my heart stopped, did I want them to resuscitate me? I realized then that I was dealing with more than what I knew.
To be honest with you, I thought she might die. And I was asking God why. I lost 2 friends in Afghanistan just recently, just in the last 2 weeks. I was thinking, oh Lord, not another person.
It was in church that I received a text from Sarah telling me about Pam. And as I read the text and what was going on, I thought to myself, whoa, Pam is really sick. And when we say sick in the medical community, we use it in a way that's really an understatement. And I thought, oh my word, she's going to need a miracle from God.
One of our housemates, Gabby, came in and prayed for her.
And both Sarah and I looked at Gabby, and we said to her, you understand, she could die. And Gabby was like saying, no, she's not going to die. And I was like, because a lot of times people say that, but they're in denial. And I was like, I hear you, honey, but you need to hear me. She may die, and you need to understand that. And I was just, crying out to God, please, Lord. I've seen God do mighty miracles when I worked in ICU, so I knew God could heal her. But I didn't know if he was or not. And I kept saying, Lord, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. And, and he did.
I had several people from the school come in and pray for me, and I had all kinds of people texting me, telling me they were praying for me. And but one of the girls that I came with, Gabby, she came in and she began to pray for me when I was in ICU. And it was no great prayer that I felt, just, or anything, but she said, I see transition from here to there, from this to that, from sick to well.
We went home quite worried about her. And within about 2 or 3 hours, she rang us and was talking at top speed on the phone, telling it, we're fine, I'm off oxygen, the temperatures have gone. and I'm feeling absolutely fine and I should be discharged tomorrow.
And I was up in bed, I was eating, I was talking, and I was like, hey guys, I'm feeling great. And I could hear everybody hollering because they was at home praying.
Margaret and I were just gobsmacked, it was very hard to accept even that she'd made such a transition when we were going home still praying and worrying that whether she would actually improve.
Utter unbelief. I could not believe what I was hearing on the phone. I was like in total shock.
We went in to see her that afternoon and she was already on the ward. At that stage, it was just as she'd spoken. She was off oxygen, she was talking. And even while we were sitting with her, she had an encounter with God. She was lying there in the bed and was talking about how she was, ministering to people in the hospital. She'd seen about 8 people and prayed for 8 people in the hospital already. And Margaret and I could just look at her. This is not possible.
I'm struck with how she is able to move and speak, because she has significant lung injury, and it takes days, it takes weeks to recover. To hear the sudden change, I thought, there is no way on this green earth that medicine made the change. This truly was a miracle from God. I have never seen someone recover from influenza and pneumonia within 24 hours. It was very, very powerful, and it impacted me. To just see right in front of my eyes a miracle.
God answers prayer. The scripture that says the prayers of the righteous availeth much. And I just believe that God moves on behalf of his people. When you cry out, he hears you. And then he works everything out for the good. And I just sit in awe of him.
I'm so loved and accepted. Accepted is such a word that it takes new meaning for me now. Accepted into the beloved, the lover of my soul, the one who pursues me and overtakes me and loves me, and I just worship him so much and thank him. Yeah. Thank you. I'm just so excited about what the rest of my life and what Jesus has for me, and whatever it is, I'm okay with it. Just whatever it is, I'm okay.